Break of structure and change of character are two trading concepts that help you capitalize on the continuation of a trend, break of structure, or a trend that is about to change of character. Trends, of course, are determined by whether or not you have a series of higher highs and higher lows, an uptrend, or a series of lower lows and lower highs, a downtrend. And it is at the moments when we get confirmation that either the trend is going to continue, or if the trend is instead going to change, that affords us opportunities to trade. So break of structure, or BOS, is where the price action of a coin or token keeps on breaking below its previous lows, if of course in a downtrend. So as you can see here, we've got a lower low, a lower high, and then we break below this lower low to put in another lower low. And when this happens, that is called break of structure, represented by this line here. It also happens again here, as we again put in a lower high, and then another new, fresh lower low. And it is when we cross the previous lower low that there is a break of structure. Or in the opposite circumstance, when the price action keeps breaking previous higher highs when in an uptrend. So you can see here, a higher high followed by a higher low, and then we break past the previous high of high, a break of structure, to put in a new higher high, and the process repeats. Here's another break of structure here as the price action ascends beyond the previous higher high, offering confirmation that the trend is strong and will likely continue. So break of structure when in a downtrend will help you determine that the price action will likely continue lower, and whereas break of structure when observed in a uptrend will help you determine that the price action will continue higher. Now, a change of character, or CHOCH, is different. This, unlike break of structure, BOS, telegraphs the change in a trend and not the continuation. So when in a downtrend, when the price action of a coin surpasses the previous lower high, breaking the trend, that is a change of character, highlighted by this line here. The first signal that the trend is beginning to change. And of course, when in an uptrend, as opposed to a downtrend, a change of character would occur when the price action stops putting in higher lows and instead breaks below to put in a lower low, creating again this change of character, which of course is represented by this line here. Again, the first signal that the trend is about to change, in this case from an uptrend to a downtrend. So this is a basic illustration of an uptrend moving to a downtrend. So let's just use the line tool to highlight exactly what's going on here with break of structure and change of character. Okay, so here we go. We have the price action in an uptrend. We put in a higher high, we then put in a higher low, but then the price action ascends beyond the previous high to put in a higher high. And when that occurs, represented by this red line here, that is a break of structure. And likewise, a change of character, moving finally from this uptrend to a downtrend. So we have a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, consistent breaking of structure until finally the price action descends below its previous higher low to put in a lower low. And that line here represents a change of character, a confirmed move from an uptrend to a downtrend. So just to recap, whilst this uptrend is strong, we are consistently getting break of structure signals, which give us the confidence that this trend is going to continue. So if I was to enter a trade down here, I would ride it up confidently because I keep getting these break of structure signals. But when I get a change of character signal where the price breaks below the previous higher low, then that is my signal to exit my trade because there has been a change of character or a change in the trend. So moving now to a live chart, you can see that I have my change of character and break of structure signals all laid out appropriately for me to trade off. Now I'm using the free Lux Algo market structure fractal, which has this, but there are many other indicators you can use, and of course a more advanced paid version. So how do you trade using CHOCH and BOS, change of character and break of structure? Well, here's just one example. So firstly, we're in a downtrend here, and before we're entering a trade, we want to have some kind of bullish confirmation. So if we're just using change of character or break of structure for that, we just wait for a change of character signal and then we could enter. Now here you could buy the breakout of this level, or you could wait for a retest. Now the retest didn't happen, so buy the breakout would have been the best strategy, and then you will simply ride it up. Now we've got a bit of a downtrend here, but we haven't had another change of character signal. So I'm going to stay in my trade and I'm going to wait. And then of course we get a break of structure signal, which is bullish, which gives me the confidence that the price action is going to continue higher and it does. So I ride it all the way up. But then I get a bearish change of character signal, which is suggesting to me that the price action may now head lower and that this uptrend may pause for a little bit. So I would exit my trade. And if I had bought the breakout here and exited on the bearish signal, that would be 47% profits. Now, obviously, I haven't caught the bottom and I haven't caught the top, which would be almost double profits. But remember, the money in crypto is made in the middle. Now, there are many different ways to utilize break of structure and change of character signals. This is just one example of how you can use them. Different trading conditions are also going to impact how you use break of structure and change of character signals, as they are admittedly not as helpful when a token or coin is just ranging within a narrow margin. For example, if we scroll back a little, you can see here when the price action is ranging in a very tight space, we have of course conflicting change of character signals for the bullish and bearish consistently happening, which isn't particularly helpful when you're looking to capitalize off those moves. So one thing you do need to watch out for is mixed signals when trying to capitalize off break of structure or change of character moves. Obviously, as we just discussed, that when the price action is trading in a very tight range, the signals you're typically going to get are going to be mixed and potentially not overly clear. On this example, a change of character can be observed as the price action crosses below this red line, essentially printing a lower low in the price action. But immediately following it, a higher high is confusingly put in, creating what's called an undetermined trend. And when this occurs, you should train yourself to wait for further confirmation of direction and look to the broader market, for example, what Bitcoin is doing, to get some clarification on where the market is headed before entering a trade. It's important to understand that mixed signals can be signals in of themselves, meaning that if you see a fake move as illustrated here, where in this instance, following a downtrend, a higher high is suddenly put in, creating this bullish change of character, only for then a lower low to immediately follow, resulting in what's called a fake move or fake choch. This being the fake choch, with this fake out suggesting the downtrend may continue after all. But in fact, this fresh lower low was simply the result of a demand zone on a higher time frame being fulfilled, pulling the price action towards it like a magnet, before that liquidity helped drive the price action to another fresh high, confirming that the previous change of character signal was correct and the trend is indeed in the process of changing. Traders just weren't paying attention to the higher time frames. Therefore, if you start getting mixed signals with fake moves such as this becoming more noticeable in the price action, because these moves tend to happen when a pivot from one trend to another is in progress, such as from a downtrend to an uptrend or vice versa, it's important to recognize that another trader's confusion can be your opportunity. Understanding how trends work is not particularly complex. When in an uptrend, if a lower high or a lower low is printed, those are clear signals that the trend is weakening, and vice versa for a downtrend. Here's a new higher high and a higher low, breaking the trend. But break of structure and change of character can add structure and clearer lines in the sand to trade off. You could enter a trade when a change of character signal is given, then use the break of structure signals to provide confidence that the price action has more upside ahead. And when you then get an opposite bearish change of character signal, you exit or begin to scale out. Or you could simply trade the break of structure like breakouts when they occur. Or you can enter on the pullbacks to support following break of structure signals, allowing you to enter in demand zones such as these, whilst also making sure you're paying attention to the higher time frames to ensure you're entering where there is the most supply and demand. But however you integrate break of structure and change of character, BOS and CHOCH, into your trading strategy, always use it in combination with other wider market signals and other indicators, but when used correctly, they can add some clarity to trend movements whilst also providing helpful signals that can tell you when to enter or exit a trade with confidence. That's it for now. Catch you in the next one.